The Buseoksa is the name of the temple. And then this one is called the Muryang Sujeon, like eternal ages. So this one is rebuilt in 1376. So toward the end of the Goryeo Dynasty, like 20 years before the end of the Goryeo Dynasty. So here you can see that it's larger. It's a 5-way system. And then roofs are higher. So here the brackets are a little bit more extended. It has to be extended this way, so that roofs can be a little bit, pitch is a little bit longer, and then it's higher. You can compare this smaller system to a more elaborate systems. And then Sudeoksa is also another temple that was rebuilt again, in the later part of Goryeo Dynasty, 70s. And this one is a 3-way system. Then you have like a double tiers. Do you see this V-shaped brackets in double tiers? But if you go to the Joseon Dynasty, these brackets are like a stacks of 5 or stacks of 7. So it shows the magnificent scales of the roof structures. Originally, you have to color them in colors like this. But usually they left it as is in order to show a little bit more older taste of the dynasty buildings. Now let's talk about Tripitaka Koreana. This is what you read about, right? So tri means 3 parts. So what are the 3 parts? Regulations of monastic life. Second, discourse with the Buddha. So this is actually very important, number 2. This is more like a spells, right? Like, so a student asks something to Buddha, and then Buddha will give the direct answer. So number 2 is actually, these are sutras. These are the foundations of Buddhism as a religion. That's the most important one. And then sutra is a difficult, right? And then also it's a historically remote period that took place when? 5th century BCE, right? So if you are not from 5th century BCE, you need some explanations. Otherwise, you cannot really understand what you're talking about. So we have commentaries on this sutra over the period by renowned monks and scholars. So in order to practice Buddhism in a temple or as an organized religion, you need all 3 parts. Number 1, regulation. Number 2, sutras, the main part, like a gospels, right? Like a Q&A with the Buddha. And then you need the commentaries on that sutras. So 1, 2, 3. So as you know, the Goryeo people carved on the entire Tripitaka on 80,000 wood blocks. And currently it is stored in Hain Temple. It's in the southern part of Korea. But the carving took place in Ganghwa Island on the west coast of Incheon. Like Ganghwa Island is very close from Incheon, Ganghwa Island. So Mongols were great archers and great warriors, but they were slightly scared of water. So that's Ganghwa Island. So even though you already answered the discussion, can anybody talk about the carving process? Can anyone talk about this? Yes? Who's this? So can you tell us a little bit about the carving? I cannot hear very well.
Professor, can I say?
Yes, Paulette.
Yes, so with the carving, they would they would start the paper, like rice paper, onto the boards, and they would use perilla oil, and they would paint the boards, and then they would stick the paper on and put more oil, and then when you put the oil, it makes the letters more clear for you to see. And then after it dries, that's when they will start to carve it, but they will carve one by one, like each letter. So you had to be very skilled to do it because it was so like particular, and you couldn't mess it up, because if you mess it up, then you messed up the whole Buddhism, like, you know, things. So they had to be very like, they had to do it very meticulously, and then sometimes it will be as if one block it will have 300 words, like around 300 characters on one block, and they would do it, and then sometimes it would seem like be so perfectly done that it would seem like, even if a lot of people worked on one block, it would seem like one person worked on the block. They would carve it out like letter by letter on the wood.
Right. So when you say 80,000 wood blocks, these are like a single one of them. You know, so you have 80,000 of them here, and then these are mirroring images. Do you see what I'm saying? Like a printing, you know, you have to put the paper on top of it and then take it off. So it's like a mirror, right? So all those letters are carved in the reverse of the original printed or written Chinese characters. So obviously you need a lot of skillful knowledge. So Pyun Temple, Haeinsa Temple is built in Joseon Dynasty. I want to quickly mention that they made this depository of 80,000 wood blocks in a special way. And that special way is ventilation. They really paid a lot of attention to ventilation, because wood during the hurricane season or the humid month over the summer, you can imagine that it can be damaged. They didn't have the electric humidity control machine then. So their idea is to create a bookshelf off the ground. Do you see like the bottom is empty here? So it's off the ground. And then not only that, you know, the temple itself was built, the number 5 is where you have that, you know, this, what is it, the depository. So below, it's like a, you know, ground level, but still built it on top of the stone foundation. And then it has slopes, right? Like intentionally they used the slopes. And the reason is the wind has a better circulations if you have the other side slightly embedded into the rock foundation, so that ventilation is more facilitated. And then this is the back of it. So you go in from the front, it looks like this. But then if you go to the back, you only have this part, and then again 2 windows to facilitate more air circulation. And it says 80,000 sutra collection. So this is the current view. Again, you have empty, you know, shelf, and then what else did I want to tell you? So if you get the large piece, there is somewhere that you can fold into half, and then if you make half into the folds, then you can stack them up and then bind them as a book. So current one, if you make that encyclopedia style layout, then it will be like what, 20 volumes set or something. But originally you have that 8,000 leaves, and then you make it into a large volume set. But what will happen if you print over and over again on the wooden board?
The wood will start to work out.
Right, like you know, the sharp edges of the characters will become dull, right? So that if it becomes really dull, then you probably carve it again and replace it or something. So you can maybe print out several hundreds of it, but then you know it's not that durable.